Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Thursday, July 20. Before we get into the news, please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and friends.
Reach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. People's National Party councillor for the Southborough Division in Portmore St. Catherine, Ainsley Parkins, also known as Tyson, was shot and killed on Thursday morning. Reports are that about 9:45, Parkins was in his vehicle on Laurel Road in Southborough when men came from behind a wall and opened fire, hitting him multiple times. He was taken to the Spanish Town Hospital where he was pronounced dead.
When they came, they found him slumped in the front of his vehicle, leaning toward the passenger seat. Based on our own assessment, it is obvious that the shooters were very close to him, but we have no further information regarding how it happened. The investigation has commenced. We have assembled a top-level team headed by CIB headquarters and the Major Investigation Division to lead on this investigation. I am appealing to members of the public who may have seen or heard anything to call us at 311 or 811 with any information that you have. We have no such evidence at this time. As I said, it's early days and we are not going to make any assumption. We will do an investigation and we are very open in our approach to this investigation.
Parkins was reportedly conducting assessments of a project he was undertaking. He is the second politician from the division to be murdered in just over a year. In May of 2022, Lennox Hines, Jamaica Labour Party councillor caretaker for the division, was shot and killed on Marcus Garvey Drive in Kingston. Of note, Parkins and another man were shot and injured in August of 2009. He was the caretaker for the Noggerhead division at that time. The other victim was also a member of the People's National Party. In that incident, a group of gunmen invaded the South St. Catherine constituency office and demanded money from the men. According to the police, the gunmen were told that there was no money and they opened fire. Parkins and the other man were shot in their leg. 16-year-old St. James High School student Neo Samuels and his 22-year-old brother Gregory Forbes, both of Wrong Turn Road in Long Bay, St. James, were killed execution style and their home set on fire on Wednesday night. Reports from the Barretown police are that about 11:40 p.m., the brothers and 5 other family members were at home when armed men went to the board section of the house occupied by the siblings and kicked the door open. The men then held the brothers at gunpoint, placed them face down and executed them. The house, which is a mix of board and concrete, was then set on fire by the gunmen before escaping from the scene. Investigators say the victim's mother, their 2 sisters, a small child, and another brother managed to escape unharmed. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton acknowledged a continuous increase in the number of COVID-19 cases in the country. Last week, the average number of confirmed or suspected cases was 100, which has now risen to 130 this week. The number of positive cases is about half of the total figure. Additionally, the occupancy in isolation wards has increased from an average of 20% of available space last week to about 30% this week. The number of moderately ill patients has risen from 13 to 22 in just 1 week, with 2 reported as severely ill and none critically ill. Tufton also stated that hospitalizations are on the rise, and the ministry is closely monitoring the situation as bed occupancy levels increase across the health regions. While acknowledging that the current COVID-19 variant strains are considered relatively mild, the health minister emphasized the risk for vulnerable individuals, such as the elderly, those with underlying health conditions, or recovering patients, as the virus could amplify existing health issues and lead to adverse outcomes. 48-year-old Kurt Henry, otherwise called Belty, a vendor of Paradise Street, Kingston 16, was shot and killed on East Queen Street in the parish on Wednesday. Reports from the Central Police are that about 4:40 p.m., Henry was walking along the roadway when he was approached by 2 armed men. The men subsequently opened gunfire, hitting him several times in the upper body. The police responded and upon arrival, The body of the now deceased was seen lying face down in a pool of blood with gunshot wounds. He was transported to the hospital where he was confirmed dead. Investigations are ongoing. Prosecutors staged sittings across the island to protest for better wages. As a result, court proceedings at the Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, and the circuit courts in various regions have been affected. The prosecutors called for a meeting to address concerns about their welfare and well-being, as well as their future course of action. They had previously sent letters expressing their concerns to Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark, copying it to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck, and other relevant authorities. However, they did not receive a response by the July 19 deadline, which the prosecutors perceive as disregard and disrespect. They have vowed to continue their protest until they receive a response from the government. The bloodletting continued in Spanish Town on Wednesday when two men were gunned down along Job Lane. They have been identified as 48-year-old Delroy Grant, also known as Ninehead of an Irish pen address, and 66-year-old Trevor Robinson, otherwise called Big Back of a Job Lane address. It is reported that around 8 a.m., explosions were heard in the vicinity of the Spanish Town examination depot. Checks were made and the two men were found suffering from gunshot wounds across from the entrance to the depot. It is reported that they were fired on by occupants in a vehicle that drove up. A woman was also shot and injured. Her condition is not known at this time. No motive has yet been established for the double murder. This shooting brought to 5 the number of murders in the division over a 48-hour period. Kenyan Roman Catholic priest Lawrence Muvingi, who is accused of sexual abuse of a 12-year-old girl, was granted bail when he appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Wednesday. Muvingi was granted bail in the sum of $800,000. He was ordered to report to the Matilda's Corner Police 3 times weekly, surrender his travel documents, and avoid contact with the complainant. Muvingi has been charged with rape, sexual grooming, having sexual intercourse with a person under 16, and abduction. He will next appear in court on Wednesday the 27th of September. The police say the alleged offences were committed on the afternoon of Sunday, March 19, but were only reported to authorities on Saturday the 23rd of June. The incident reportedly took place at a Roman Catholic church in Portmore, St. Catherine. During a joint police-military operation in Shaw Castle, St. James on Tuesday, a man named Adlan Ferguson, also known as Tata, was killed, and his brother, Romario Ferguson, is now being sought. Romario was the initial target of the operation as he is a person of interest in a murder and shooting case. However, when cops arrived at the premises, Adlan came out with a firearm and opened fire on the officers despite their calls for a surrender, leading to his death in the ensuing shootout. Romario, also known as JT, appeared from under the house and also began firing at officers before managing to escape. The St. James police are calling for Romario to surrender immediately at the nearest police station and are appealing to the public for any information about his whereabouts. 29 Haitian nationals were charged with illegal entry when they appeared before the Portland Parish Court on Tuesday. The 24 men and 5 women were jointly fined $7,000 or 3 days in prison at hard labor. Arrangements are being made by the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency to have them returned to Haiti. The Haitians arrived at Boston Beach in Portland on Monday the 10th of July about 1:40 p.m. It is believed they were at sea for 14 days with intentions of reaching Florida. The St. Catherine North police are investigating the death of 39-year-old Barbara Marvin Bowley, who was killed along the War Hill Main Road in Sligoville in the parish. Bowley, who lives in the James Mountain area, was reportedly standing with others along the roadway about 11:30 a.m. when a man armed with a handgun approached them and fired shots. Bowley ran, but was reportedly chased by the gunman who fired several more shots. Bowley was hit and fell. His attacker ran off and boarded a waiting car. No motive has yet been established for the killing. The St. James police have arrested 2 men who were allegedly caught with a stolen motor car on Belgrade Avenue in Greenwood, St. James on Tuesday. They say about 12:50 p.m., a man discovered that his motor car was stolen from his home and alerted the police. Assisted by a tracking device that was affixed to the motor car, The police team was led to an area in Greenwood in the parish, where the stolen car was seen. On the arrival of the police, 3 men were seen with several car parts and car accessories belonging to another vehicle that was at the location. On seeing the police, one of the men ran while 2 of them were arrested and taken into custody. Their identities are being withheld pending further investigation. In business, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica (Statin) says the inflation rate at the end of June was 6.3%. That is marginally higher than the 6.1% rate at the end of May. June's inflation rate was influenced mainly by changes in the divisions, food and non-alcoholic beverages, restaurants and accommodation services. The Bank of Jamaica expects the inflation rate for the financial year to fluctuate over the coming months before settling in on the target range of 4 to 6%. In sports, Under-20 world champion Jaden Hibbert's indoor mark of 17.54 meters has been ratified by World Athletics as the outright Under-20 world record. World Athletics made the announcement in a release today. Hibbert's leap last March at the NCAA Indoor Championships not only broke the collegiate record but broke the indoor record of 17.20 meters set in 2017 and the 17.50 outdoor mark set in 1985. Hibbert's leap last March at the NCAA Indoor Championships not only broke the collegiate record but broke the indoor record of 17.20 meters set in 2017 and the 17.50 outdoor mark set in 1985. Hibbert's personal best now stands at 17.87 meters. This is currently the best jump in the world this year. Meanwhile, 5-time 100-meter world champion Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce opened her 100-meter campaign for 2023 on a winning note in Switzerland today. Fraser-Pryce stormed to victory in a meet record performance of 10.82 seconds in her first 100 meters race since the 2022 Diamond League final in Zurich, Switzerland. Zoe Hobbs of New Zealand was second in 11.08 seconds and Kennedy Blackman was third in 11.11 seconds. Brianna Williams was 8th in 11.35 seconds. And on the entertainment scene, 8 months after suffering a stroke, singer Freddie McGregor made an emotional comeback to the stage on July 16. He performed on the Mighty Crown sound system Far East Reggae Cruise in South Korea, sailing from Yokohama in Japan. Backed by the Rough Cut Band, McGregor delivered a 40-minute seated set with his children providing backing vocals. The 67-year-old artist credited his steady recovery to 5 days a week of therapy in Florida. And that is it for your news roundup for today. We would appreciate you liking this video, leaving a comment and sharing the video with your family and friends. Have a good evening and see you next time.